Welcome back, everyone. And now we're going to look at keeping your safe kids on their mobile devices. We want them to be able to learn, but we also want to ensure that they don't install stuff that we don't have power over, or that they don't work on the phones too late when it's bedtime. So we're going to look at a tool that Google has provided called the Google Family Link. And we're going to see, first of all, how do we install it and how can we start utilizing it as a parent to a child. So let's have a look. We're going to go to Google Store on our parents' phone, so our own devices. And we're going to type in family and we'll get family link over there. So I'm going to select family link. And then from here, I'm just going to select install to start installing it. I'm just going to wait for the installation to finish. There we go. And let me open it here. So it says, help set up digital ground rules for children and teens. Set screen time limits. We're going to see how we can do that, and allow or block apps so we can review applications before they install it. So yes, let's get started. So they ask who will be using this tablet or phone if you're using a phone. So I'm going to say the parent is using this one. And then they say before you start, make sure the device you want to supervise for your child is nearby. So on our child's device, I'm just going to press next here first. They say that we're going to use this account as our family manager. And for the children, we need to install children with the family link as well. So they need their own application to be installed. So let's go to the child's device. And so this one is the student. So I'm going to go to Google Play Store and I'm going to say family link for children and teenagers, which is a different application. There you can see the icon looks slightly different, where this one's got the big kites and this one's got the two smaller kites. So I'm going to say install. So now I've got Family Link installed on my child's phone, and I'll say open for now. And it says Family Link for children and teens. Choose a device to supervise. I'm going to say it is this device. That is my account. So I just click on it, which is a student Gmail address. So just checking for some updates first. While it's checking, let's click on ready on the parent device for now. So it says, does your child have a Google account? Yes, they do. Then they say, get your child's device, and together you and your child will set up supervision on their device. So I say, all right, and I press next. So then I say, open Google Play, install this app, which we've already done, and then when prompted, enter this code into your child's device. So on my child's device, I'm just going to press next on this first screen. And now when we hold the phones or tablets next to each other, we can then enter this code. And there it says, yes, that's correct. And it says to verify it's you, enter your password. So it's now your child's password. So I'm just going to take it off screen to enter the password very quickly. There we go. So I've entered the password in there and I'm going to press next. And then they say, your kid wants to join the parents' family group. So I'm going to say join. And then it tells us waiting for your parent. So we go back over here. Is this account the one you want to supervise? Yes. So once this is done, there they go. So your parents will be able to see all of this. We're just going to say more. And at the bottom over here, what your parents can't see you do, remotely see what's on your screen, see your past searches, etc. So these are things that they just warn you everything you can't see. So we're just going to press next over here. And then they say, do you want to allow the supervision? And we say allow. And then at the very bottom over here, it says activate this device at administrator. So I click activate this device administrator. And it says go get your parent. So I press next. The parent now needs to say, what is the name of this device? So I'm going to say student 2 tablet is the name of this device. So that's the name of my child is student 2, the little raccoon. And I'm just reviewing. These are some of the apps that I currently can run on their phone. So I'm not going to change anything here. I'm just going to say next first. And now it's finishing up. So it says your devices are connected. You can now press next and done. Now I'm done on the child's phone. So if I go to my phone, the parent phone, I can then go to customize parental controls or use the default parental controls. So I'm first going to start with leave the default controls. So they say turn on filters for adult and mature content and turn off filters for mature sites in Google Chrome, which is what your use default would give you. If I go to customize parental control, then I'll have to go and change it as I go along. So a good idea would be start with these adult and mature content to be already blocked. So I'm going to press next and continue. Now, if I go into Family Link, let's just close everything over here and go into it from scratch. If I had multiple devices, it will show me multiple pictures, but because I've only got one, it's only showing me one right now. So if I click on it, it opens it for student 2. And I can then go into my settings and various different things that we need to set up. So let's start. So first of all, settings, let's click manage. Controls on Google Play. So they say content restrictions that we currently have, apps or games, rated ad. So maybe the student is too young. I'm going to change this to 7 plus. And press OK. So any games that are 12 plus, 16 plus, 18 plus will not be allowed on this device. Movies. So movies is 7 to 9 PG because he's still young. So you can then set what age restrictions you want to allow for movies. Books. So here it just says sexually explicit books are restricted. And then music, explicit content providers are restricted as well. So this is now been done. Then purchases and download approvals require approval for everything. If they want to purchase something, it doesn't just use your credit card for nothing. You need to approve it first. Filters on Google Chrome. Let's have a look. So they say try to block mature sites. Because sometimes it does go through, but we'll have a video on how you can protect your internet by setting some settings on the computers or your routers specifically in the next video. So try to block mature sites, definitely a good idea. If you say allow only certain sites, it's even more restrictive. And then we can go to manage sites, approved, and you'll have to enter the sites that you want to approve. So I have to say add a website, else it would be blocked. I think starting off with try to block mature sites is a good idea. Else, if you know there's only certain sites you want them to be on, then you can manage which sites do you allow and also which sites to block. I'm happy with that setting. Filters on Google search. So we're going to keep safe search on, which just makes it a bit safer for the kid to search. And filters on YouTube. So they say with restricted mode, it will hide various potential mature content. So we're going to add it as well. We want restricted mode on YouTube. And then for Android apps, currently there's no limits or activity yet. The child hasn't used this yet. But if we wanted to, we can limit certain apps. So we'll get back to this one later. Location. This is normally a good idea. I would enable it. So I'm going to say turn on. And it says settings have been updated. You might just have to give it a couple of seconds or so to update on the phone as well. But now you can see where is your child currently with the location app. We'll see that just now. Well, I won't go in because it will show you where I am. So maybe for now I'll switch it off. I'll show you where you can see it. That's maybe a better idea. Account info just gives us info about this current student born in 2006. So maybe 7 to 9 was the wrong age, but any case. And there's some more settings, but we're going to stop there for now. Let's move on to the next thing. So if I've set location on, then I can use this to track where the student is. If they're supposed to come home after football or soccer practice, then you can at least see that the student's on his way home and you can track where they are. So this gives you, almost like Google Maps, a nice view that you can see where your child is. We can see activity on the phone, how much time did they spend on the various different apps. Screen time, this we'll have to set up. So over here, it says currently there's no limit set at all. So if I schedule this, I can then potentially state that, you know what, for Mondays, he can only be on the phone for 3 hours. Tuesdays, 3 hours. And then Saturdays and Sundays, no limits. And you can change these limits by increasing these limits or decreasing them as well. I normally don't like to set daily limits. What I'm more after, but you could definitely set daily limits, but what I'm after is when is it time to go to bed? So I'll start with Sunday, and I'm going to say, yes, I want some times set there. And I want the phone to lock at, well, let's say 10 p.m. And I want the phone to unlock at, well, maybe a bit earlier. Let's make it 5 a.m. if they have to get up quite early. And I'll click also apply to school nights. And I press save. So let's go back into edit schedule for bedtime. And it tells us now that on a Sunday evening to get ready for school on Monday, it locks at 10 p.m. and that the phone's available again from 5 p.m. right up until Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday currently has no bedtime. If you want to, you can also go in there and we can say, right, for Friday evening, let's lock the phone at midnight and unlock the phone again at 5 a.m. And I'll say also applies to, no, not all night. So we'll just set it to Saturday as well. Midnight, and unlocks again over here at 5 a.m. And I'll press save. So let's go back into edit schedule. So then we can see I've got Friday evening and Saturday evening, midnight is the time that this person needs to go to bed. So the reason I don't like daily limits is you're probably wondering, well, what if my child is naughty and I want to take his phone privileges away? Then you can just simply click lock now, and it will lock his phone until you decide to unlock it. So let's say the phone got locked because it's 10 p.m. and you forgot the next day is a public holiday, and they say, Dad, tomorrow's a public holiday. Can you not give me bonus time? Then you can go back into the app where it says locked and just click bonus time and decide how much time you want to give him. So let's make it 2 hours because we're going to do it the same as a weekend. And I'll say add, and then it will extend the time that they can still utilize it. So I'm just going to say lock now again and unlock to go back to my normal schedules, which is at 10 p.m. it would lock. But you can set daily limits. If you only want them to use the phone for 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever a day, and if they used it up, then of course it's now finished. So if they install new apps, you'll be able to see it here. So let's see what happens if a student, or in this case our child, wants to install a new app. So they would have Google Play Store, and they would say, you know what, I want to install a game. So they're going to click on games, and what game are we going to install? Plants vs. Zombies. There we go. Let's press install. And then it says, whoops, you have to ask for approval first. Now there's 2 methods you can ask. The child will bring you the phone and you would click ask now, in which case you need to enter your password on their phone and press approve. Then it's immediate. Or you can coach them and say, click ask in a message. So they click ask in a message and it says approval's been sent to your parent. So we go to the parent's phone, and if we scroll up, we'll see there's 1 approval request, and your phone will also bleep and say there's an approval request. It says, do you want your child to install this application? I would say, yes, I'm happy with this game. I like it too. Let's click approve. And immediately on your kid's phone, it will start installing the application. So you can quite easily manage the content they're allowed to install or the content they're not allowed to install as well. So all my approval requests, if I go to history, I'll see there's my history of what I've approved in the past, Plants vs. Zombies, and I can view what it's all about. Alright, so I think that sort of covers everything we wanted to say about this. If you go through the application, you've got some questions, please send them to education@sabttech.com. The link's down in the description. But it's quite self-explanatory, but if you have any questions, you need any help, let us know. Or if you have ideas of things that you're worried about using the internet for your kids, tools that you might want to see, please let us know. See you next time.